Hello everyone out there, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. I decided to switch up the backdrop today just for fun, sit in a different spot of the house. I am literally sitting on a storage container right now because I don't have a stool. I tried sitting on a container of mixed nuts, but that had much less structural integrity. Anyways, I've got my tea. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Today I want to talk all about some tips for saving money. So as a lot of you guys know, over the past year, my husband and I have made some pretty big purchases. We bought our very first house, we had a wedding, and so, saving our money and recuperating our savings has definitely been top of mind. And so in today's video, I wanted to share some of the most useful and kind of practical things that have helped me in my life over the years to spend less money, live a little simpler, and also just save money as well. So that is what today's video is all about. And I want to thank ThredUp for sponsoring today's video. I'll be chatting more about them in a moment. And let's get started. So number one is to spend your money on things that you actually want instead of a bunch of stuff that you don't need. There's a bit of a distinction there. I'm not going to sit here and say that the way to save money is to never spend money, but it's really easy to get caught up in seeing things, making impulsive purchases, or just buying stuff we don't need, or maybe buying something that wasn't quite right, but we buy it anyway, that kind of thing. So here's an example. A few months ago, I was on the lookout for some picture frames. Ended up buying a bunch of picture frames that weren't quite the ones that I was looking for, but I was like, oh, they're like close enough, they'll do. And then I ended up finding the ones that I actually did want. I just ended up spending a lot more money and wasting time versus just like being a bit patient and actually like finding the ones that I actually did want after the fact. So yeah, just, spend your money on the things that you know you really want, that you know are gonna bring you enjoyment versus stuff that you don't need. Number two is to sleep on it. So give yourself some time to think about a purchase that you are thinking about making. Can it wait? Ask yourself, is it something that I need right now? Or can it wait a few months? Can it wait, 6 months or a year or even a few years? Just sleep on it. Give yourself that opportunity to just think about it first. This is definitely going to help you to avoid those impulse purchases. Often we get sucked into something that we want because it seems so exciting, only to have it kind of lose its excitement pretty quickly. Another way to approach this is to ask yourself, if I walk away, will I still want it, right? I have found this to be something that's worked for me before. Maybe I see something that I want, but I decide not to buy it. I give myself a day or two, kind of like walk away from it. And then you kind of forget about it. You realize that the excitement of it wears off and you didn't really need to buy it in the first place. Number three is to shop with intention and with a shopping list. So shopping with intention really just means that you know what it is that you are in a store to buy, what you're set out to buy. And then of course, shopping with, like having a shopping list handy, writing down the things that you need to buy can help you to just stay on track and not get carried away. We all know what it's like to be in a store and we're adding things to our cart that again, we don't maybe really need, we didn't even come there for, and it just ends up costing us a lot more. Number four, this is by far one of my favorite ways to save money, and that is to shop secondhand. This is huge. Whether that's checking out your local thrift store or online thrift stores like ThredUp, this is a great way to save money, and it's also great for the environment to be kind of recycling items, clothing pieces, etc. I recently got a couple of new things from ThredUp. I wanted some new like casual, cozy pieces just for around the house. I got a pair of white linen pants by J.Crew. They're just very comfy, cozy, and a nice casual pant for around the house or even outside the house. The estimated retail price was $89, but the ThredUp price was $10, so that was pretty awesome. I also got these, I'm actually wearing them right now, these Also cozy pants, cozy casual pants. These are by Uniqlo. They are the perfect length. I love finding pants that are the perfect length for me because I'm not that tall. They're just like a nice kind of ankle, almost like a capri little flare pant. The estimated retail for these pants was $48. I got them for $14.40. I also got just a very basic white tank top, which I wear all the time. Comfy, stretchy, great undershirt. And then I got a couple of just really easy sweaters. A nice soft pink cardigan by the brand by Tabby. Almost like a little evening house coaty type sweater. I quite like it. It's very, very soft, a little bit stretchy, and a soft pink pullover sweater from American Eagle. I just love that you can filter exactly what it is that you're looking for on the ThredUp website, and of course, just knowing that I'm not spending as much money as I would if I was buying something brand new. And I do have a discount code for you if you want to check out some secondhand pieces. You can get up to 60% off and free shipping with the code Meghan. I will leave a link for you in the description box below. Next is to pay attention to monthly fees, whether that's bank fees or subscriptions, monthly payments that you have coming out of your account for things that you're not necessarily using or don't need to spend as much money on. And the solution here is to just simply review these things. Take a look at what are the things that are automatically coming out of your account that you are subscribing to. And if you decide that there are things that you're not really using, go ahead and cancel them. I know it's annoying. It takes a few minutes to like log into accounts or make phone calls, but yeah, it's definitely worth it though to take a few minutes to do that. You can also ask yourself, what else could I do with the money that I'm spending on, XYZ monthly fee or payment? What are other things that I could do with that money if I decide to put it in savings instead? Sometimes that can give you a little bit of a motivation for ways that you can save, because again, those different kinds of monthly fees really add up without us realizing it. A personal example here actually is I recently canceled a service that I was paying for. I came across a different provider about a month ago, and I switched over to it, and made an enormous difference in the amount of money that I was spending monthly. So again, it's little things like that it's like, holy crap, if I just make little adjustments or tweaks to some of these things that I'm paying for, maybe automatically, holy crap, can save you a ton of money. Next is to avoid triggers, meaning the places where you're tempted to spend money. So this is different for everyone, but maybe there's a specific store, home decor store, plant store. If you know that right now you are in a bit of a saving money mode and this is really important to you, then just take a bit of a break from those things, and you might find that you spend a lot less money if you're not kind of putting yourself in the position where you're more likely to spend money. Next is to borrow things or DIY it. There are so many opportunities for us in life to borrow something from someone. That can be a great way to save us from having to purchase a bunch of things, especially if they're like one-time use things. So that can be really, really handy. Whether that's like a tool, a household tool, or like a special dish that you need to use for an event that you're hosting. Even, I learned this recently, did you know that you can borrow ebooks? Like if you have a Kindle, which I have a Kindle, you can actually borrow them electronically from a library. And then the same goes for DIYing things. Of course, there are times where it's worth it to spend the money on having maybe a professional come in and help you with something, etc. But there are many instances where we can just kind of figure it out as we go, watch a YouTube video, and you can just do it yourself, and that can save you some money there too. Number 8 is to keep your receipts. Of course, in a perfect world, we would just never make purchases that were impulsive, and we wouldn't need to return things because we just knew exactly what we needed to buy and we make use of it and all is well. But in reality, sometimes it happens, right? We buy things and we decide we want to return it. Just make sure that you do your best to hang on to your receipts instead of tossing them right when you get home thinking that you don't need to return this thing. Just a really helpful practice I find is just always keep my receipts in case I do want to make a return and get my money back. Next is to evaluate what you already own. Before you maybe are making a purchase with something, do you already have something similar? Maybe do you already have duplicates of this thing? Or is there a way that you can make use of something that you have that's very similar? Things like this, sometimes even like rearranging your furniture can help things to like freshen up instead of maybe buying a whole bunch of new stuff. Little things like this, just kind of taking a little like inventory of what you have, evaluate the things that you have around you, and if you have something similar or ways that you could use things that you already have before buying something new. Next is to remind yourself of your financial goals. This is a simple one, but it can really help to put things into perspective. What are the things that you are hoping to pay for or to be able to afford? With this information, especially when you are reminding yourself of it regularly, it can help you to just make wiser choices before you buy things, kind of needlessly. Kind of comes back to, again, not getting in the habit of buying things that you don't necessarily need. Just reminding yourself, you know, what even are my financial goals? What is the reason for me wanting to cut back on the amount of things that I'm spending money on? How much money am I wanting to have in savings? Or what are my goals? And reminding of yourself of this often. Which brings me to my next point, and this is also a huge one, like might even be one of the most important ones depending on kind of who you are and where you're at, but that is to face your bank account. And I'm only saying this because I actually know from personal experience in the past what it's like to just like not want to log into my bank account. I don't really want to it almost makes you feel uncomfortable to like log in and take a really close look at how much money you have in your, checking account, what do you have in your savings, how much money do you owe on credit cards, etc. Sometimes what can happen is it's sort of like out of sight, out of mind. When we don't pay too much attention to it, we're more likely to spend money because we just don't want to think too much about it. But when you sit down and you're honest with yourself, log in, just face your bank account, it can just help you to again, put things into perspective, help you to realize, okay, this is where I'm at. I'm being completely honest with myself. And it can almost give you that little bit of motivation to continue with the goals that you have, because you're being honest with yourself. You know how much money is there, you know how much you owe, and it just gives you that bit of like a reality check. And likewise, if you see that you do have some money in savings, it can give you that encouragement to continue nurturing that account. So this is just, something that I have found to be useful for me, is just, like making sure that you are regularly checking in on your bank account, you're aware of the money that's there, and you're being honest with yourself. Sell stuff that you are perhaps decluttering or not making use of or getting rid of instead of just tossing things out. I am such a big fan of doing this using things like Facebook Marketplace or Garage Sale or Kijiji, etc. Such a fantastic way to, obviously to not only simplify a little bit, but to make some extra cash. This is a great way to, just make a bit of money when you're getting rid of things. Alrighty, and lastly is to avoid shopping as much as you can when you are bored or when you're stressed or if you're in a really emotional state. Again, I'm not saying that we should never shop for things, of course not, but it is helpful to ask yourself, okay, what is my motivation behind really wanting this thing right now? Where is that coming from within me? Use this as an opportunity to kind of pause and just reflect on, what is it that you feel like you really need right now? Is it this item that you really, really need? Or is it that you're upset about something, that you're stressed about something that you need to work through? Are you just completely bored out of your mind and you're looking for something to just like satisfy you? So if you're in that state, just pause. Just reflect a little bit on what it is that you feel like you might need. And this can help us to make choices that better align with what our needs really actually are. So that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found this subject helpful, some useful, practical tips on how you can spend less money, live a little simpler, save some money. Leave me a comment below which of these tips you find is most useful in your life, if you do any of these things, or if you have any tips as well on saving money that you can share with others, absolutely leave them below. And don't forget to check out ThreadUp if you want to try out some secondhand pieces. Again, you can get up to 60% off and free shipping with the code Megan. I will leave a link for you below in the description box. And that's it. I'll see you guys very soon.